Okay, as we're doing these moon through the houses, I just clearly it's quite good to go through the indications of the moon first. And remember, moon becomes mature in astrological world around 24, 25. So the indications for the moon get better. We get to normally when a planet matures, that's when we really utilize its indications quite well, and obviously every planet rules a house. So moon rules Cancer, and so it's always good to look at Cancer as well and see what's going on in Cancer. It doesn't matter what house it turns out to be for you, but it's a good idea. It gives you some sort of indications, because whatever house it falls into, that's the house you like to kind of connect to. Makes you feel good, and wherever moon is the action required in order to use that. So let's do that. So moon obviously indicates mother, any form of vehicle as well, your car and your home environment, your home. It's your emotional and mental health, how we connect emotionally to others, how stable and secure we feel, and our feelings, how we are, our memories, our happiness, and the capacity to be happy. And so these are very fundamental things about moon. Moon in the 7th house. So remember also that moon, you can, in Vedic astrology, reading it from the ascendant is your path, reading it from the moon will be how you feel about your path. And obviously in this axis, moon is directly aspecting the 7th house as well. So it's having those kind of influences on the 7th house, from the 7th house to the 1st house too. So we just want to reiterate that, and also the fact that in Vedic astrology, 7th house is so important because it's 10th houses from the 10th house. So this is one of the things, that actually can influence your career as well. So having the moon in the 10th, what would be like bottom of the 10th house, is majorly important. But obviously we always want to know whether or not, it's a house that depends on the ascendant and how the moon gets on with the ruler of the 7th house in terms of planetary relationships. So, and also 7th house is an angular house, so it's very strong and supportive of the chart. And also it is a desire house. It's one of those houses that if your moon is in there, and moon is mind, and 7th house is a desire-based house, there is a desire to be in relationships for sure. And the other thing I wanted to mention also, the results will always be different, obviously depending on all aspects or conjunctions. I'm talking about a moon that's not like that. And obviously a waxing moon is much more out there, whereas a waning moon is much more kind of likes quiet time. It's more likes to be out there, but can be a little bit more likes to retract too. So let's have a look at this just in terms of, so 7th house is partnerships, business partnerships, and it's marriage, relationship, house of sex, house of interacting with other people. And the natural 7th house of the zodiac is Libra. So there's always going to be, whenever you read this, you always want to just think about it from a Libra viewpoint, because this is the house that you want to interact with other people. You want to have a balance with others. You want to have a bit of harmony, diplomacy. You worry about what people think, in a sense, obviously because moon is there. And this is also your public image, in a sense, because this is obviously is quite it's a house of other people. So it's how people see you, in a sense. So you do care about what people think about you, your public image, how you portray yourself to the world, and how people see you is very important to you. And as a result, you want to have an emotional connection with whoever you're with, because you're mixing two feminine energies there. So it'd be the moon and also Libra, which is ruled by Venus. So but moon does pretty well in Venus signs, just because they are much more family and more interactive with people as such. And this can be literally can give fame, because moon is fame, is the masses as well. And also moon's nature is nurturing, caring, and it's in a sign of sharing, so it is a beautiful thing. So but obviously it has got different connotations for different different sort of ascendant. And so obviously it's aspects first house. So also moon is beautiful anyway, beautiful planet. So it just means that your partner will be beautiful, your mother will be beautiful, but also it's aspecting you, so you will be beautiful. And all these three characters that I just spoke about, all of you are very caring and nurturing as well. So that's another thing as well. The other thing is moon also waxes and wanes. So all these three people can actually all suffer from bloatedness and putting on weight a little bit, particularly when the moon is quite full in the sky. So you can be, because also moon rules hormones, so it can be and moon is always up and down, wanes and wanes. So your partner and yourself, you can both be up and down, and mother can be the same as well. So we have to take all of these things, because we are talking about moon as such an important planet. And now you can obviously read the moon from the 7th house, and so it's like so you can actually see how it reflects back to yourself in a sense as well. So it is pretty cute. So it can give you also your mother will be quite a sociable person. She'll be very diplomatic, very likes to have a bit of balance at home with their partner. They react to the needs of their partner. They want to connect with other people. It is just, but she will be a business-minded person, because this Libra has got a Libra filter, and Libra is the house of commerce, is exchange of energy, exchange of goods. So there's that as well. So she will be a smart cookie. So will your partner be as well. So it's amazing. And obviously you want to sort of look at the bottom as well, in a sense. So that 4th house is from there, which will be your 10th house, is how happy your mum is. And then also 10th houses from it will be how your mother's career is as well. So or how people see that as well. So these are little things that you can really kind of ponder over. And clearly this position, because it's bottom of the 10th house as well, so it just means it's the natural 7th house of the zodiac is Libra after all. So these people will be fantastic at connecting with people, great business people, good at commerce, good at litigation, lawyers, politicians. They'll be really good advisors, they also negotiate well, counsel people where they'd be really good advisors, all those kinds of things as well. So this could give you a little bit of an idea with that too. So it's depends on obviously the sign that it lands into, because obviously if it lands in say a Mars sign, it could be somebody who's in the military, for example, or into security or something like that. So it's all very dependent on the house as well. So the thing is as well is that you are looking at every sort of every ascendant. So for the first ascendant, the Aries ascendant, you know that seventh house will be Libra. So Moon will be your fourth house ruler in the seventh house. So it's already like a angular house lord in an angular house. So it's quite an important position in a sense. And you know that the mother has had quite a lot of influence in your work or your partner, and also it's fourth house. Then it becomes fourth house is homeland as well, and so, and it's also both of these houses are to do with travel. Moon is travel. Seventh house is furthest away from the first house, and also rules Cancer, which is overseas. So there could be a lot of travel involved in this. In a sense, you know, this is a couple that like to travel, do things together. It'd be a beautiful partner because not only Moon gives beauty, but also Libra gives beauty, and that's really reflected back at you as well, which is so beautiful. So, and yeah, so it's a nice one, this one. And Moon always does well in even though it's not friendly with Venus, nonetheless though it does really well in Venus's sign. So. And it's obviously family, isn't it, too? It rules family. So the family is a wonderful sociable. They like to be interacting with other people, you know, and things like that. So when you have when this happens to Taurus ascendant, so their seventh house is Scorpio. Having Moon in the seventh house will be, Moon rules their third house of Cancer, and goes into seventh house. So now this is like mixing third house and seventh house things together. And obviously third house is house where you have to put an effort into things. It's not it's like a fruits of it come later because it's an upachaya house. But nonetheless though, third house is also a desire house, and so is seventh house. So they want to be in a relationship. They like literally want to connect and you know, be surrender kind of thing to the relationship. So these people got to be really careful because Moon is a vulnerable planet, and this is a vulnerable sign. So it's like another water sign. So you it could be a little bit too desire based. So you have to do to remedy this. You need to also think about because also seventh house is the Karaka significator for the seventh house is Venus, and Venus is all about making the right choices. So in order not to be heartbroken, because you know with Scorpio, when they're broken they just shatter in fragments, so they have to be very cautious of where they place their hearts. So in that sense, it's very important to make really good choices, and make choices not based on looks, you know, because some of them might be gorgeous now, but are they gorgeous underneath, first of all? If they're not, what's the point? And so it's really, this is very important to self-love first before, and also remember that Moon is debilitated in this sign, because it can't let go. It can be too much attachment, which is one of the issues with Scorpio. So to maintain that, you have to really kind of go with the indications. So third house is your friends, your siblings, and obviously Moon is your mother. So it could be an introduction through those sources. So it could be trusted in a sense because of that. So if you go by by somebody who the family knows, that will be the better choice for you there. So, but yeah, it can, you know, so it's all about like those deep connections. So you want to do, have a bond with somebody who has your back, if you like, who's nurturing and loving towards you. So that's great. And then also Gemini. So Gemini will be the second house ruler in the seventh house. So you know that the making right choices. Second house is choices, because it's natural Taurus is a natural second house of the zodiac, has gone into the 7th house. So good choices bring in money. So that could really sort of like money will be activated once you've gone into the relationship, and it is like, and it's a very family oriented placement. It's a really nice one, you know. So and also because both Cancer and the 7th moon are also changeable. So you've got to be careful with your money as well. So you could be emotionally spending money as well. So savings can be a little bit hard if you are going for it. Both of you and your partner, emotionally. So make sure you don't go shopping when you're feeling really, if you don't have any money. So don't do that. So just a little tip there. And but it would be in the terms that it's kind of like second for Gemini will be second house ruler in the 7th house. So it will be the partner will be somebody who will be educated, well traveled, or you go traveling together, and it's also could be somebody who's spiritual, who is it's somebody who can commit really, because it's a natural 9th house of the zodiac. And you end up traveling quite a lot together really, because everything 7th house is traveling, 9th house of the natural zodiac, Sagittarius is traveling, moon is traveling. So it's like really they love learning about other things, so that's lovely. So Cancer ascendant, so this will be the first house ruler in the 7th house, so moon in Capricorn. So obviously Capricorn is a dry sign, is quite a career minded, status ruled sign. So it also indicates the mother as well. So the mother will be the same, will have status and respect and dutiful. This is a very dutiful, this partner, the partner will be very dutiful and will be very career minded. So it might not be very emotional, but will make up for it in the fact that he wants to really provide, wants to be reliable, be there for their mum, for their wife, for their family. And from their moon is aspecting the 1st house, protecting the 1st house. That's pretty nice. And but it is obviously, it can kind of make the person or the mother and everything quite restrictive, quite almost like, not, I don't want to say cold, but more rigid really, in the sense, because they're too focused on doing rather than feeling. And so in a relationship, moon wants to feel, so it can be like so it's, you've got to just make sure you express that to your partner, and so that your needs get met, because that's exactly what feminine planets are all about. We want to fulfill those feelings, those parts of our lives, because that's what the planet is indicating really. So and the couple will be, well respected, and it's really good placement for work. Excellent. They'll be famous at work, respected, as I said, and as I said, but it can be more to do with being, you get, it won't be like the romantic thing that you want, so you have to work at the romance, because the partner might not be so romantic, so you have to kind of go into the relationship actually with those boundaries in place, that I want to have flowers every now and then, I like us to go out for a meal, I like this, so make sure that you set those boundaries in place right at the very beginning, and then they do that. It also shows obviously that it could be a governmental job, and it's a very status driven position, so it's really good for that. Then for Leo, so moon will be the 12th lord in the 7th house, so it could be that you might have had a secret affair with your partner before you actually got together, because 12th house is secretive sign, and it's also bed pleasures, so that could be that. It could also be that partner has got some habits, like it's a little bit too fond of certain things, so you gotta just be aware of that. So, you know, because obviously it's also quite emotional. So when they get emotional, they could just like have tap into habits and things. So so what it means also, you could meet your partner when you're abroad, traveling, or they could be from abroad, something like that. Or they could also work in a charitable organizations, things like that. So it'd be like some form of 12th house things attached to the 7th house too. So Virgo ascendant moon rules their 11th house and it's now gone into the 7th house. So what this means is that your partner could be amongst your group of friends or networks, and actually relationship can bring gains as well. So that's nice. And it could just be really good that is you have kind of things in common, you and your partner. You know, you are, I don't know if you have like, you play tennis together, or you're part of, you know, the run club or something like that. So you are kind of do things together. Again, it brings two desire houses together. And obviously 11th house is Upachaya house, so that's pretty good, as is the 6th house that I would, you know, anyway. So yeah, so 3rd, 6th, 10th and 11th houses are Upachaya houses, by the way, if I've missed that earlier. But anyway, so and then so the 11th house ruler in the 7th house for you, so that would be Pisces. So the spouse will also be like quite spiritual, quite caring, very creative, and extremely charitable personality. A bit of a daydreamer as well, and obviously it's the natural 12th house of the zodiac as well. So you've got to be just careful that, you know, because it could be expenses and things as well. So, but yeah, but beautiful soul, you know, really sweet. Then we have Libra. For Libra, moon rules their 10th house. So it's a 10th house lord going into 7th house lord. So it's a very strong position. So for them, you know, it's good, and it basically shows that this person is like a they can be quite independent, quite sporty, quite go-getter. You know, is somebody who is very energetic and puts a lot of vigor into their world, into their relationship, and into their work as well. So, and so these people will be brave. They could also be doing things to do with brave kind of jobs, like them, you know. So they can literally be in the military or forces, something like that. They could be really great lawyers, scientists, or even people who racing drivers, you know, things like that. Because particularly if like 4th house is involved as well. But yeah, so they do everything really quickly. They just, you know, they're adventurous, you know, sort of people. And definitely guarantees that kind of success at work. You got to realize this gives you like because obviously what happens is moon is also in Aries, so Aries rules the head. So they're constantly thinking, because the mind is always on kind of self as well. They're very aware of their self and thing as well, because of the natural first house of the zodiac. So they're very self-motivated as well, which is really lovely. It's also at certain degrees as well, particularly in Bharani Nakshatra, they could be quite pioneering in their work. Then for Scorpio ascendant, this will be their 9th house ruler now in the 7th house, which is Taurus. So this is probably the best position of all of these now, because this will be an trinal lord in an angle house and exalted. I mean, you can't get any better than this, can you really? So moon is such a strong planet for Scorpio, and brings obviously house of luck, happiness, karma. You know, it's amazing, like fantastic. And it's now going into your seventh house, and ninth house is contractual thing, so it will be marriage, and it's you know, it's a very cultured, very family oriented partner who literally just brings luck into your world, and just loved by the family, loved by the parents, and yeah, so it's just lovely for the family. So creative, does just give you so much abundance of the moon, ninth house, seventh house, and Venus, which is so lovely. So it brings all those beautiful things together. And these people just know how to enjoy life, how to just create a beautiful, you know, enjoy food, enjoy drink, having friends around. Just wonderful, you know, and it's natural second house of the zodiac. They love traveling as well. Ninth house lord, that's again traveling. So it is just as good as it gets. Normally will be really good values involved, lots of integrity, wonderful. Wealth as well, because it's natural second house of the zodiac is Taurus. So we got like an exalted moon there, amazing. Then for Sagittarius ascendant, this will be like your moon will rule Cancer, the eighth house, going into the seventh house. So this will mean obviously that it's a transformational relationships will be transformational to these people. They've got to just like let go with the flow and let things happen. And luckily, this is like not like the natural zodiac, eighth house of the zodiac, Scorpio. This has got much more, although it's got a feeling of it, but it's a dual, so it's actually the much more fluid. There's more fluidity to do with this. There's more less kind of holding themselves back. They can surrender, and so the relationship can transform their life 100%, you know, and they just, but they always thinking, you know, thinking process can be a little bit sort of you know, can be an issue there. So they just got to just like, it's, you know, because it's Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Moon is not so friendly with that. So you just got to just not overthink. If you overthink, then things can get difficult. But what you can do is actually just like, if you just go with the flow and just accept that your life is about transformation, and sudden transformation, ups and downs, and but what will happen? It will bring really, you know, these changes and transformations will just be wonderful. And you know, there could also be, I mean, eighth house can be divorce as well, so her eighth house lord in the set, but that's okay. Just remember that you're supposed to, it's a dual sign. Moon is flirty anyway, it's gone into a dual sign, and again Gemini is quite flirty as well, so there could be more than one relationship. Why not? You know, so just go with it. You know, don't think, you know, that's difficult. It's also that a relationship can create like a sudden windfall. You know, you could actually suddenly inherit something, or suddenly just like win the lottery or something. So, you know, obviously it depends on on everything else as well. But obviously still eighth house ruler in the seventh house is quite a vulnerable, you know, position. So you just want to not be too caught up in eighth house things and be too fixed, so you actually stop the changes and hold your life back. You know, the partner holds you back, if you like. But yeah, so also this is a house of multi-skilled as well. So the partner can be jack of all trades, can have a gift of the gab, know how to speak to people, bit of a sort of like definitely good at sort of wheeling and dealing and commerce and business, and yeah, very, very kind of like very sharp, you know, sort of things as well. And then we have Capricorn ascendant, so this will be seventh lord in the first house. So this is a nice Raja Yoga. So this will definitely give fame, and because it's seventh lord in the first house, it just means that you and the partner are very much aligned with each other's, path, and there's a lot of sort of there's a lot of confluence between you, in a sense, even though they don't really get on very well. The moon, and there could be some friction at the beginning, but Capricorn is a difficult sign for the moon because it's quite cold. But also moon is a planet that's quite watery, and it needs kind of grounding. So that here on an earth sign, it's quite grounded. It's quite, it's kind of more pliable, if you like, in that sense. It can get confusing sometimes when I'm doing this. I'm trying to do different houses. Can get quite difficult one. But anyway, I hope I'm doing doing it in order and everything. So. And so it's like seventh lord in the first house, so your partner is literally, is somebody who's quite career-minded, high achiever, hard worker, and and kind of driven person really at work. But there is this thing that obviously you want to just kind of let them know how you feel about things as well. So you don't want to always hold back on your feelings. You want to speak about those as well. So that would, because you want, seventh house, you want peace and harmony, because it's very much like Libra. But if you don't negotiate that, because also Libra is negotiating, it's an exchange. So if you don't negotiate that, then the partner doesn't know. Often I think we do, this is the biggest mistake with relationship. We don't actually let person know what you like, negotiate your feelings and how, all that kind of stuff. So, and then there's an expectation, but you should know, but how would they know, So I used to do that with my husband, where I would just, I would do the housework, and he always, I always used to feel a bit like, I'm doing it, you should do it, And I would leave the vacuum cleaner by the door. So as soon as he walks in, he knows that he's got to do that. But because I hadn't communicated to him what I was expecting him to do, he would just walk straight over it and do his thing as normal. And I'd be thinking, I can't believe that he just did that. And obviously people had to point out, well, you have to tell him, because he probably thought you left it there and you were coming back to it. So yes, absolutely makes sense. Okay, so for Aquarius ascendant, this will be their Cancer is their sixth house, and sixth house lord has gone into the seventh house. So this is where the sixth house stuff is mingling with the seventh house thing. So that the partner is quite health conscious, or needs to look after their health, and there could be some bickering, arguments, and little discord between you. Because that's just what's the nature of the sixth house lord will be in the seventh house. So little arguments and things like that. So you just got to be careful not to borrow money, and when you're feeling emotional and things like that, because you got to kind of really be aware that sixth house is debt, disease, or discord, all of those things is going into the seventh house. So more than likely there's going to be relationships that you go through that just don't work out. And also, obviously, Upachaya house lord gone into the seventh house, so things grow better with time. And but really, just be careful, because sixth lord in the seventh house can mean debt. So be very careful about your money, and borrowing money particularly. It will be very good to be aware of that. But otherwise, it could be somebody who's a health conscious, who does healing, who is somebody who's service oriented, somebody who is works with rescued animals, all those kind of things as well. So that will be the higher octave of using this as well. And you always remember to embrace what the chart gives you, because if once you work through it, that karma is gone, and use it properly to your advantage. So You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Most people nowadays get married and divorce or have arguments, but you know, you just want to just make sure that you don't hold yourself, you know, sort of you know, kind of work on those things to just make sure that you don't let that kind of be the focus of your mind, because you move on from it and get on with the things as well. And also, you know, Moon for Aquarius ascending going into their 7th house is Moon is gone into a friendly house, so it's not as difficult as you think. It can be worked on, but it could just give Moon can be a little bit like, because obviously it's a fixed house, Leo, so it doesn't really like change and things like that. So don't be fixed and be more flexible, you know. And you don't want to do, because sometimes fixed houses can give us the same pattern of problems. So because they don't want to change, they're scared of change. Fixed houses are too rigid with that. So, but if you go with the flow, and you'll be absolutely fine. So now for Pisces ascending, Moon rules their 5th house, gone into the 7th house. This is a fantastic Raja Yoga, fantastic. So this is like a romantic relationship, and very much like, you know, obviously Moon in Virgo is a critical sign. You know, it's too logical and too much into, you know. But if you really kind of use the energy really well, that's so lovely, because it's also, you know, aspect in Pisces, you know, 1st house, so it's lovely, you know, 5th house Lord aspect in the 1st house. It's just fantastic. Creative, artistic, loves children, loves just kind of partying, or romantic as anything. And obviously then, you know, when they meet their partner, you know, they want to get married and all that. It can be really nice, and you know, it's just got to just be less into detail and more into the big picture, which is Jupiter, so which is like Pisces. So, but otherwise, it's a nice mixture. So that's it from me. I'll see you soon. Thank you very much for supporting me.